intrinsically effective? These are among the most fundamental questions in discussing creation, including the creation of man. I find that ilm al-kalam can provide us with some useful answers. For the first question we have, in the previous session we had a long talk about the universe and the Big Bang, expansion of the universe, and that will make this part short. So I don't need to repeat what the professor in the previous session told you. The universe is expanding. This is a fact that has been discovered by Edwin Hubble. Also, the observation confirmed the existence of the cosmic microwave background. And this is considered as a proof for the hot origin of the universe. Analysis of the observations obtained from the CMB strongly indicates that the universe existed some 14 billion years ago. As for the second question, we have physics tells us that real time has a beginning. However, based on the mathematical possibility that time can be composed of real and imaginary parts, William Hartle and Stephen Hawking suggested in 1983 that the universe may have been existed in endless imaginary time. Imaginary means square root of -1. I don't mean imagination. I mean square root of -1. Before being created. So Hawking questioned, so long as the universe has a beginning, we could suppose it had a creator. But if the universe is really self-contained, having no boundary or edge, that is to say no start in time, it would have neither beginning nor end. It would be simply be. So Hawking said, what a place then for a creator. But what is imaginary time? We all know, we physicists know, that imaginary quantities are not measurable. Therefore, if the universe existed in imaginary time, it's not existing physically. Hawking-Hartle argument for the eternity of the universe, sorry, not the creator, the universe, for the eternity of the universe is false, is wrong, because he's talking about imaginary time. The third question concerning causality, actually, the main relevant issue in these views is the existence of the effective cause. This might seem to be a requirement for the regularity of the laws of nature, but the mutakallimun have denied such an effectiveness, such an effective cause, and instead they proposed their theory of recreation by which there are causal relationships rather than deterministic causes. Quantum physics denies determinism, leaving the laws of nature to work within some available provisional possibilities defined by the physical circumstances. The laws of nature turns out to be expressing processes and relationships exposing order in the world. Such laws are therefore in need for a determinant and therefore are unreliable to stand as an effective cause. Does it need a creator? Can the universe create itself out of nothing? Without a creator? Some physicists like Stephen Hawking and Lawrence Krauss claim that there is no need for a creator. The universe is assumed to have been created out of vacuum spontaneously. Quantum physics and general relativity says that such a creation needs to be supported by gravity. My PhD thesis actually was done in Manchester University. I finished my PhD in 1978, and it was about the creation of the universe using general relativity and the quantum field theory. So I know what I'm talking about in details. My argument is, if vacuum needs no creator because it's nothing, the nothing needs no creator. How could gravity exist without a creator? Stephen Hawking says that if you have vacuum, the nothing, and you have gravity, then you can create the universe out of nothing. The same argument is put forward by Lawrence Krauss too, in his book, A Universe from Nothing. So how, if gravity is necessary, as we know, for the creation, how the gravity came at work? The hand of the Creator, as far as I can see, is embedded in the so-called initial conditions for the first creation, a challenge that physicists could not overcome. Here is a photo of Stephen Hawking. He's actually here. At that time, in 1977, we were attending a conference. I was a PhD student in my final year. And the conference was in Waterloo, in Canada, University of Waterloo in Canada. There were about 500 top scientists, top physicists in that conference. And I was lucky to sit dining with Stephen Hawking and other colleagues like Gibbon, for example. This is Gary Gibbon, and this is Stephen Hawking. At that time, Stephen Hawking was a poor man. His chair was ordinary chair with a motor. He was talking very slowly, very, very slowly. I used the chance to ask him two important questions. Question one, do you think, Professor Hawking, that behind all the equations we are writing on the boards in this conference have something which cannot be described by mathematical equations? His answer was, if anything could exist, then it should be logical. My second question was, does your intuition tells you that there should be something beyond the laws of physics and laws of nature? And Hawking answered, I don't know. Who puts fire in the equations? I don't know, I cannot tell. But then, since then, Hawking, I heard, kept asking, who put fire in the equations? Fire means who is operating the equations? Who is driving the laws of nature? Determinism and indeterminism. Classical physics is deterministic. Quantum physics is indeterministic. Even the world can be predicted to happen, whatever event can be happen with probabilities. But who is determining which probability will happen? There is no law of physics or law of nature which tells us this. So laws of nature, therefore, if the laws of nature, which is the phenomena in nature, fire burns cotton, are indeterministic, how could it be reliable to operate the universe? Science and God. Why there should be a law at all? Why not a complete chaos? Why the laws of nature are indeterministic while the laws of physics are known to be deterministic? Who plays with the probabilities of the contingent events to make the universe possible? I find science and scientists couldn't answer these questions. I discussed these questions in my book, God, Nature and the Cause, which was published last year in Malaysia and the United States. It was first published in the United States. 3 months later, it was published in Malaysia in another edition. I discuss this question in details. The book can be ordered from Amazon.com for those who are interested. Some renowned physicists like Sean Carroll or Sean Carroll, they says they found themselves in difficult situation when these fundamental questions are raised. For example, why there is something rather than nothing, etc., etc. Why? And he finds himself, he's a very decent person, by the way, he's atheist, but he's decent. Sean Carroll makes no cheating. He says, we don't care about these questions. It's not our business to answer the question, why. In science, we need to answer the question how, not why. And this, he finds an escape gate to get rid of the question why. But this is unfair. This is unfair since we all know that the scientific quest starts with the question why. Unless we answer those questions, we cannot claim that science is providing us with full explanation, as they claim, about the universe and our existence. Finally, Carroll tried to evaluate God as a scientific theory. He finds that his hypothesis, or this hypothesis that God is there, fails the test. Indeed, it should do so. If you are judging God by science, it will fail to do the test. It will fail. There will be no God, because science cannot answer the question why, as admitted by Carroll himself. God and the law. Physicists confuse between laws of, especially in the West, laws of physics and laws of nature. This is a misuse. That's why you read, for example, Paul Davies. Paul Davies says, given the laws of physics, the universe can create itself out of nothing without the need for God. This is wrong. This is untrue, because laws of physics are our own explanation of the phenomena in nature. Laws of physics. Laws of nature are the phenomena itself without specifying any reason. So, laws of physics cannot be reliable to explain God, definitely. And laws of nature need a driver. As Hawking is asking, who puts fire in the equations? He died and couldn't answer.
Professor Altai, fascinating discussion, but if you can wrap up in a few minutes.
There is a big chance for Muslims to tackle these big questions. I found this in Daqiq al-Kalam. Daqiq al-Kalam is the natural part of Kalam. It is the discussion of space, time, force, etc. Space, time, force, causes, etc., causality, etc. I have written this book, دقيق الكلام, الرؤية الإسلامية لفلسفة الطبيعة. دقيق الكلام, the Islamic approach to natural philosophy. It was published in 2010, and was adopted for teaching at Marmara University, Department of Kalam. They are teaching the book. And now it is, I hope, it is in a press in the English translation. It will appear as they promised me in a few weeks' time. I believe that this branch of Kalam can inspire new developments in theoretical physics and in biology, including the subject of evolution. I will make it short and say that this approach is very detailed and is very scientific. I have published a paper, actually here, Recreation, a possible interpretation of quantum indeterminism. It's published in Matter and Meaning, etc., in 2010. And there I explain several phenomena in physics which has no explanation, like quantum entanglement, for example. Also, I feel that specialists in biology can use Daqiq al-Kalam to build up a new theory of evolution. I call it the Islamic theory of evolution, if they are interested, of course. This comes through the recreation proposal, the continuous recreation, which is, I find, a very valuable piece of thought that is stemming from a very simple verse, but heavy verse. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyu al-qayyum. So the qayyumiyya of Allah on the universe requires that the universe get recreated billions of times a second. Thank you.